The Legend of Jigong Chapter 40.
So let's get into the setup. Our story kicks off with a summons.
Right.
We have these two very well-dressed servants, Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu, and they are essentially acting as corporate fixers for an incredibly powerful man.
Prefect Zhao Fengshan of Linen.
Yes, the prefect. So they track down Jigong at a local restaurant, and the very first thing they do is walk up to the tavern keeper and pay Jigong's tab.
Which is such a classic power move.
It totally is. You establish indebtedness immediately before you even make your request. You're saying, look, I own you a little bit now.
Right, I solved your problem, now you owe me.
Exactly. So then they beg for his help.
Because their boss, the prefect, is dealing with a severe family crisis.
His aunt in Kunshan, right?
Yeah, his aunt in Kunshan has gone completely blind. And we really need to consider the resources of a prefect here. In the historical context of the Song dynasty, a prefect isn't just, like, a mayor.
He's way more than that.
He is the supreme local authority. He's the judge, the police chief, the civil administrator, all rolled into one single person.
So this is a family with immense, almost unimaginable wealth and influence.
Absolutely. They have already brought in this parade of traditional doctors. I mean, the absolute best that money can buy.
And every single one of them has failed.
They all failed to restore her sight.
Right. And then a highly renowned physician named Li Huaichun steps in, and he recommends Jigong.
And he doesn't just casually drop a name.
No, Li Huaichun gives the prefect a resume for Jigong that sounds absolutely wild.
It really does.
He cites that Jigong has performed miraculous cures in the past. Specifically, he mentions that he cured something called big head sickness at the Qin Prime Minister's residence, and he fixed phlegm blockages at the Su residence.
Right, which sounds bizarre to us.
Yeah, let's pause there because to a modern ear, big head sickness and phlegm blockages sound terrifying, but also vaguely cartoonish.
Like something out of a comic book.
Exactly. What are we actually talking about here medically?
Okay, so in the context of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, those terms represent incredibly severe, often fatal afflictions.
So not a cartoon at all.
Not at all. Big head sickness, or Daituwen, refers to a highly contagious acute epidemic febrile disease.
Ah.
Yeah, it involves massive swelling of the head and face, high fever, and a really severe infection. It was notorious for sweeping through populations and killing people very rapidly.
Okay, that is horrifying. And what about the phlegm blockages?
Phlegm blockages is even more complex. In TCM, phlegm isn't just literal mucus in your throat like we think of it.
Right.
It's considered a pathological substance that can become invisible and lodge anywhere in the body.
Invisible phlegm.
Yeah, and if it blocks the, quote, orifices of the heart, it causes severe mental illness, mania, epilepsy, or even comas.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Li Huaichun is bringing up cases where patients were essentially at death's door.
Literally dying.
Either dying of a horrific infectious swelling or completely losing their minds, and Jigong fixed them.
Right, he cured the incurable. He's establishing Jigong's credentials for the impossible here.
That makes sense.
And the recommendation carries immense weight because Li Huaichun refers to Jigong as an expert of the highest order from beyond this world.
Which has to be a huge red flag to the prefect.
Oh, a massive red flag.
Yeah.
He's basically telling this incredibly wealthy, powerful politician, look, you cannot solve this with conventional medicine.
Right.
And you cannot solve it with your conventional wealth. You need someone operating on an entirely different plane of existence.
Okay, let's unpack this because the visual and social contrast in this first meeting at the government office is just staggering.
It's incredible.
It's like a Fortune 500 CEO sending his top fixers in tailored Italian suits to go hire a brilliant but entirely erratic street performer who, like, lives out of a shopping cart.
That's a perfect analogy.
And the CEO expects this guy to walk into the boardroom, snap to attention, and just conform to their corporate standards because there's money on the table.
Exactly. And if you look at the text's description of Prefect Zhao when Jigong finally arrives at the Yamen, that's the central government compound,
Right.
the prefect is the absolute picture of the traditional loyal minister. The text specifically notes his four-cornered black satin square hat, his jade belt, his official boots with seal script designs woven into the soles.
The details are so specific.
Very specific. He has a kind face and a flowing black beard. Every single item of clothing he's wearing is a carefully curated signifier of order, hierarchy, immense wealth, and societal stability.
Basically, he is wearing his resume, his credit score, and his political platform all at once.
Yes. He represents the absolute pinnacle of the establishment. And then enter Jigong,
The complete opposite.
the total opposite. He arrives in complete rags, wearing a battered hat and torn shoes, carrying a broken fan. He is the walking, talking antithesis of all that order.
Which must have freaked the prefect out.
Oh, the prefect's immediate reaction is incredibly telling. He takes one look at the miracle worker he desperately needs, and he tries to dress him up.
Of course he does.
He tells him, "I will get you a new outfit. Your clothes are too tattered."
He wants to sanitize the magic.
Exactly.
He wants the miracle, but he wants the guy performing it to look like he belongs in a high-end country club. He is deeply uncomfortable with the reality of who Jigong is.
And what's fascinating here is Jigong's immediate flat refusal to wear the new clothes.
She just shuts it down.
Completely. He tells the prefect, "No, I don't like wearing new clothes. I am exactly as I am."
I love that.
And this is not just a quirky preference for comfortable old rags, you know? Jigong is deliberately rejecting superficial societal norms.
Right.
He refuses to be bought, and he refuses to be dressed up to fit the prefect's aesthetic comfort zone.
Okay, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure.
Couldn't you argue Jigong is just being difficult here? I mean, he's walking into this guy's home. The guy is offering him a clean shirt. And Jigong is basically saying, no, I'm going to track mud on your carpet.
It does look like that.
Isn't he just being an arrogant contrarian?
Well, it might look like that on the surface, but consider the power dynamics at play here. The prefect is used to bringing people into his sphere of influence and altering them to fit his reality.
Because he's the boss.
Because he's the boss. His wealth and his political status usually dictate the terms of engagement for everyone he meets.
Right. Everyone bows to him.
Exactly. So by refusing the clothes, Jigong is drawing a hard boundary. He is essentially communicating, "I am entering your physical space, but I am not submitting to your hierarchical rules."
Oh, okay.
He's saying, "My power does not require a jade belt to be real, and your jade belt gives you zero authority over me."
Wow, that is a strong statement.
It completely upends the power dynamic before they even discuss the terms of the trip.
That reframing sets the entire tone for what happens next. Because Jigong agrees to go to Kunshan to treat the ant, right?
He does.
But he sets this very strange, very specific condition. He looks at the prefect and says, these two well-dressed servants of yours, Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu, they have to come with me.
And not just come with him.
Right. He says, on the road, I dictate everything. If I say walk, they walk. If I say stop, they stop. If they disobey me even once, I am turning around and coming right back.
He demands a contract of absolute blind obedience.
And the prefect just agrees.
The prefect is completely desperate at this point, so he just agrees. He writes a letter to his family in Kunshan, gets everything ready, and gives the servants a travel budget of 250 taels of silver.
Okay, so for you listening, this is where the plot really thickens and the tension spikes.
This is the turning point.
The moment these two servants get their hands on that 250 taels, their minds start racing. They secretly run the numbers on the real cost of the trip.
They're doing the math in their heads.
Yeah. They figure, hey, getting to Kunshan and back is only going to cost 50 taels. We have 250. That means we can pocket 100 taels each.
And we really need to contextualize how much money we are talking about here.
Yeah, what does 250 taels actually mean?
In the Song Dynasty, silver was highly valuable. 1 tael of silver could buy roughly a couple 100 pounds of rice.
Okay, so that's a lot.
A peasant family might live on a handful of taels for an entire year. So 250 taels is a massive fortune.
It's huge.
It would be like a modern company giving 2 mid-level employees $50,000 or $60,000 in cash for a 3-day business trip.
Wow. Okay, so the temptation to skim off the top is just astronomical.
It's irresistible to them. They see a flaw in the bureaucracy and they exploit it immediately.
They think they have landed the easiest, most profitable assignment of their entire careers.
They really do.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Why does Jigong demand this specific type of blind obedience from them?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. Like, did he just want to humiliate them because they are corporate stooges representing the establishment? Or is he actively laying a trap because he already senses their greed?
It is entirely a psychological snare of the highest order.
So he knows.
Oh, he absolutely knows. Jigong possesses a level of awareness that borders on omniscience. He sees right through their polished, polite exterior, straight to their avarice.
He knows what they're planning.
He knows exactly what they plan to do with that silver, the literal moment it touches their hands. The condition of blind obedience isn't about him going on a power trip just to mock the wealthy.
Right.
It is the core mechanism by which he is going to execute their punishment.
And the punishment he designs is just brutal. The text describes this road trip, and it is a literal nightmare for these guys.
Pure psychological warfare disguised as a commute.
Let's examine how Jigong systematically breaks them down, because it's wild.
Yeah.
He starts by completely inverting their natural circadian rhythms, right?
Yes. During the day, when the sun is out, the roads are safe, and they should be making really good time traveling. Jigong wanders into a random roadside inn.
Just completely derailing the schedule.
He orders massive amounts of food and wine, and then he just goes to sleep.
While the servants, Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu, who are probably just buzzing with anxiety about getting to Kunshan so they can collect their stolen money, are forced to just sit there,
Wide awake.
just staring at the wall until nightfall.
Reading is incredibly exhausting, especially when you have zero control over the timeline.
I would lose my mind.
It gets worse. Then, just as the sun sets, the temperature drops and their bodies are naturally flooding with melatonin telling them to sleep. Jigong wakes up.
Perfect timing.
He demands more food, drinks more wine, and cheerfully announces, "All right, I'm in a good mood now. Let's hit the road."
So these two guys, with sleep-blurred eyes and aching muscles, have to stumble through the pitch dark all night long.
It's so dangerous, too.
Right. They are tripping over rocks, sinking deep into mud, constantly terrified of bandits, which, by the way, were a very real threat on ancient roads at night.
Extremely dangerous.
And all the while, Jigong is just happily strolling along in front of them.
And he repeats this cycle relentlessly.
He doesn't let up.
The next morning, when the sun comes up and other travelers are waking up and leaving the inns, they finally arrive at a new town. The servants are so utterly exhausted they don't even care about eating.
They just want to sleep.
They just collapse onto the beds. But the moment they finally get a few hours of terrible, interrupted rest and wake up feeling somewhat refreshed and ready to travel,
Let me guess.
Jigong announces he is not in the mood anymore and goes back to sleep.
It is sensory and sleep deprivation deployed as a form of moral correction. It's actually terrifying.
We can actually look at the physiological mechanics of what Jigong is doing here.
Oh, let's hear it.
Sleep deprivation causes a massive buildup of adenosine in the brain. It severely impairs the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that governs logic, critical thinking, and impulse control.
So they literally can't think straight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It causes emotional volatility and extreme suggestibility. Jigong isn't just making them tired, you know? He is chemically disabling their ability to think rationally.
And they are completely trapped by their own ambition.
Yes.
Remember the contract. They promised the prefect they would obey Jigong's every whim. If they complain, if they refuse to walk in the dark, Jigong turns around.
The mission fails.
The mission fails, the prefect's aunt stays blind, and most importantly to them, they lose the 200 taels they plan to steal.
Plus, they likely face severe physical punishment or even execution from the prefect for failing him.
Right. The prefect isn't a guy you want to cross, so they are essentially held hostage by their own avarice.
Exactly. When your schedule is entirely out of your control, you lose your bearings on reality. You become incredibly pliable.
He's softening them up.
He is tenderizing them, psychologically speaking, for the climax of his plan. They think they are the masters of the situation because they hold the literal purse strings.
They have the 250 taels.
But Jigong is demonstrating that true control has absolutely nothing to do with capital. He controls their physical reality, their biology, and their perception of time.
So they are stumbling along completely miserable, their brains probably feeling like mush at this point.
Oh, completely.
They're nearing Kunshan, and the narrative suddenly brings us to a dead halt. The trio is passing by a mountain village, and they hear this agonizing, heart-wrenching crying.
It's coming from a dilapidated, 3-room thatched hut inside a fenced yard.
This moment introduces a really sharp, jarring contrast to the world of Prefect Zhao that we saw at the very beginning of the story.
It's a huge pivot.
We are moving from the halls of immense power to the absolute dregs of societal neglect.
Yeah, the contrast is intentional. Jigong, either magically deducing it or just intuitively knowing the entire tragic backstory, stops outside the hut.
Because he knows exactly who is in there.
He knows that inside is a man named Gao Guangli. Gao is a fiercely loyal son who makes a desperately meager living cutting firewood on the mountain.
So he's living in extreme poverty.
Absolute crushing poverty. But he is completely devoted to taking care of his elderly mother.
And tragedy has just completely leveled this family.
Devastated them.
The text explains that Gao slipped on the mountain while gathering firewood and shattered his leg.
Hmm.
And we really need to understand the economics of subsistence living in this era to get how bad this is.
Right, there's no safety net.
Exactly. In an agrarian, poverty-stricken context with no social safety nets, a broken leg isn't just an injury. It is a death sentence for the family's livelihood.
If you can't walk, you can't chop wood.
And if you can't chop wood, you don't eat.
It's that simple.
So the mother sees her son carried home, crippled. She knows exactly what this means. She knows they have no money for doctors.
She knows starvation is weeks, maybe days away.
And the sheer anxiety, the pure terror and grief of that realization causes her old illnesses to flare up.
Right.
She literally dies of a broken heart, of sheer overwhelming stress.
It's akin to what modern medicine calls Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, right? Stress-induced heart failure.
Yes, it is a devastating, cascading failure of survival.
And now Gao is inside the hut weeping. He isn't just crying because his mother is dead.
No, it's worse.
He is crying because he's so utterly destitute that he cannot even afford a few cheap wooden boards to act as a coffin to bury her.
He is trapped in this horrific cycle of extreme poverty and grief.
It's unbearable to even think about.
You really have to look at the contrast here. You have Prefect Zhao, who can casually toss 250 taels of silver a fortune at a problem just to try and cure his aunt's blindness.
Just throwing money at it.
He can hire a whole squad of doctors, and when they fail, he has the luxury of hiring mystical monks.
Wealth provides a massive buffer against the random cruelties of life. Prefect Zhao experiences tragedy, sure, but it is an inconvenience to be managed. For Gao, tragedy is total annihilation.
Gao Guangli's attempt to just survive, to just get enough firewood to keep his mother alive for one more day, literally led to his catastrophic injury.
Which directly caused her death.
It is this tragic, brutal irony of healthcare, resources, and poverty.
And when we connect this to the broader philosophical underpinnings of the story, what we're really analyzing is the central cultural theme of filial piety.
Right, Xiao.
Exactly. In traditional Chinese culture, filial piety, the respect, obedience, and total care for one's parents and ancestors is the bedrock of societal morality.
It's the most important thing.
It is the highest virtue a person can possibly possess.
But both men, the wealthy prefect and the impoverished woodcutter, are actually displaying filial piety, aren't they?
They are.
I mean, they're both trying to help their elders.
Yes, Prefect Zhao is acting as a deeply filial nephew. He's leveraging his vast political power and spending huge sums of money to cure his aunt. Gao Guangli is a filial son, literally breaking his body on the mountain to feed his mother. Both are highly virtuous in their intent.
Right.
But the universe and the societal structure they live in heavily favors the wealthy.
Of course.
The prefect's devotion is bureaucratic, it's safe, and it's well-funded. Gao's devotion is desperate, physically dangerous, and ultimately fatal.
This is exactly where Jigong steps in as the great equalizer.
He acts as an agent of cosmic balance. He looks at these two situations. He sees that the prefect's wealthy bureaucratic devotion is already well compensated by society.
The prefect doesn't need a miracle to survive.
No, he just wants one to cure an ailment. He will be fine either way. But Gao's impoverished devotion, that requires immediate divine intervention.
The universe is fundamentally out of balance here.
Gao is suffering unjustly for his virtue. Jigong recognizes that Gao needs the miracle far, far more than the prefect does.
So Jigong decides he is going to help Gao. He wants to give the travel funds, the 250 taels, to this grieving son, so he can afford a proper coffin for his mother and survive until his broken leg heals.
Beautiful idea.
But there is a massive roadblock.
But the money isn't his.
Exactly. The money isn't in Jigong's pockets. It is physically strapped to Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu, these two greedy servants who have already mentally claimed that silver as their own personal future wealth.
And simply asking them to donate the money is an absolute non-starter.
They would laugh in his face.
If Jigong turns to them and says, let's give our travel budget to this poor man, the servants will categorically refuse. They will immediately cite the prefect's orders.
They'll find a loophole.
They will say they need it for inns, for food, for carriage repairs, which is a very convenient bureaucratic excuse to protect their embezzlement scheme.
Because you cannot logic someone out of a position they greedily put themselves into.
Never.
So Jigong pulls off what might be the ultimate con. He doesn't preach to them.
No.
He doesn't give them a moral lecture about charity. He uses their own vice against them.
It's so smart.
He looks into the dirt yard of the fenced hut, and he spots an ordinary, jagged, completely unremarkable rock being used to prop open the door. And he casts an illusion on it.
The text describes the visual shift beautifully.
Oh, tell me.
To the sleep-deprived, biologically compromised eyes of Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu, this dirty, jagged rock suddenly appears to have 7 distinct edges and 8 perfect corners.
Wow.
It radiates a brilliant light. Wrapped in a shimmering golden aura, it transforms instantly from yard trash into a magical treasure of incalculable worth.
It's incredible. Jigong turns to the servants, points at the rock, and says, "Look at that treasure. It is worth a city."
He sells it so
Well,
well.
it really does. He says the family inside must be completely oblivious to its true value, otherwise it wouldn't be sitting in the dirt being used as a doorstop.
Right.
He says, I'm going to go buy it from them. And if I sell it in the city for a massive profit,
Yeah.
we can split the money.
He hooks them right where they are most vulnerable, their desperate desire for unearned, massive wealth.
He's playing them.
He is offering them an even bigger score than the embezzlement.
So he approaches the ragged widow who comes out of the hut, presumably Gao's wife or a close relative, and he offers to buy this rock.
But you must be so confused.
The woman is entirely confused. To her, without the illusion, it is literally just a heavy rock.
Just a doorstop.
But she needs money so desperately to bury her mother-in-law that she agrees to sell it. And Jigong says, I don't have much on me, but I will give you exactly 237 taels of silver for it.
That number is the hinge upon which the entire brilliant scheme turns.
Okay, so what does this all mean? Let me push back on Jigong's methods here, because I think a lot of listeners might be feeling a bit uneasy about this.
It's fair to question it.
When you look at this objectively, isn't Jigong basically lying and scamming his own companions to achieve this good outcome?
He is using deception, yes.
He is creating a false illusion, deceiving the servants into handing over money that isn't even theirs. Does the end justify the means when you have to resort to fraud to trick people into doing the right thing?
It's a great question.
Doesn't that make him just as corrupt as they are?
That is the essential philosophical tension of the story, and it cuts directly to the heart of the divine trickster archetype.
The trickster.
Yeah, you see this figure in mythologies all around the world. Think of Hermes in Greek myth,
Oh, sure.
or Anansi in West African folklore, or Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, in Chinese lore. The divine trickster operates completely outside of conventional binary human morality.
So the normal rules don't apply.
They do not adhere to strict human rules of truth and falsehood because they're serving a much higher, often incomprehensible cosmic truth.
Wait, so you're saying conventional morality, like Kant's idea that lying is always wrong, is just too small a framework to judge him by?
In the context of the mythology, yes. Let's look at the sheer precision of that number. 237 taels. Why 237?
Right, why that exact amount?
Because the original travel budget given by the prefect was exactly 250 taels. Over the course of their miserable, sleep-deprived, drawn-out journey, Jigong had forced them to spend exactly 13 taels on food and lodging.
Oh my God, leaving exactly 237 taels left in the servant's possession.
Exactly. Jigong is literally draining every single remaining penny of the embezzled funds.
He leaves them nothing.
He doesn't ask for 200, leaving them a little profit. He doesn't ask for 230, he asks for exactly 237.
That is so precise.
It is a massive flex of his omniscience. He is silently telling the universe and subtly terrifying the servants by proving, I know exactly what you hold in your pockets down to the last copper, and I am taking all of it to restore balance to this world.
He is bankrupting their corrupt little enterprise completely.
Down to zero.
But returning to the ethics of it, why the lie? Why the glowing rock? Why not just steal it from them while they sleep?
Because Jigong understands the mechanics of human nature deeply. He knows a moral lecture about the virtues of charity would not cure their greed.
They wouldn't listen.
It would only make them defensive, secretive, and deceitful. Instead of fighting their greed, he redirects it into a better investment. He bypasses their selfishness entirely to achieve a charitable miracle for the filial son. He isn't just tricking them for the fun of it.
Right.
He is utilizing their specific, deeply ingrained flaws as the combustible fuel for his own virtuous engine.
I see what you're saying. He is using philosophical judo.
Exactly.
He takes the forward momentum of their avarice, steps out of the way, and flips it to serve a righteous cause.
The silver ends up exactly where it needs to be, saving the life of an impoverished, grieving family. but it gets there exclusively through the vehicle of the servant's own corruption.
It's beautiful.
It is the best part.
Because now they have bought this rock. And Jigong turns to Zhao Fu and Zhao Lu and makes them carry it.
And we really need to understand the sheer physical reality of this. This is no small pebble they can just tuck into a pouch.
No, not at all.
The text specifies it weighs 70 to 80 jin.
Which translates to roughly 100 pounds.
It is a massive, awkward, incredibly dense boulder.
And Jigong establishes this brilliant psychological lock to ensure they carry it without complaining.
He's so cool.
He tells them with absolute deadly seriousness, you have to carry this very carefully. If you drop it, or if it touches the ground even for a fraction of a second, the magical aura will shatter, the spirit of the treasure will escape, and it will become a worthless, ordinary rock.
It is the perfect trap.
It is.
They are entirely invested now. They have spent all their money, which, remember, they viewed as their money, their future wealth, not the prefect's budget.
Right, they thought it was theirs.
They genuinely believe they are holding a winning lottery ticket that will set them up for life. But it happens to weigh 100 pounds.
The physical comedy of this situation is pure gold. You have these two guys who are introduced at the beginning of the story wearing crisp, well-tailored, intimidating servant uniforms.
Acting like untouchable mafia enforcers.
Right. Now they are sweating profusely, their muscles screaming, taking turns lugging a 100-pound boulder down a dirt road.
And they are terrified to put it down.
Let's frame this with a modern analogy. It is like two corrupt Wall Street executives forced to lug a heavy cast-iron safe across Manhattan in the middle of July by hand.
That is a great image.
They are destroying their bodies, completely motivated by the absolute delusion that there are millions of dollars inside.
And you can map this perfectly onto the modern economic concept of the sunk cost fallacy.
Oh, absolutely.
They've invested so much suffering, the sleep deprivation, the night marches, and now their entire financial future into this rock.
Right.
To put it down, to admit it might just be a heavy rock, means admitting all that previous suffering was for absolutely nothing.
And their ego just won't allow that.
Their ego prevents them from dropping it. The visual of them sweating and groaning while Jigong likely walks lightly ahead, fanning himself with his broken fan, is incredibly powerful.
And the punchline that follows elevates it from mere physical comedy to a profound philosophical statement.
Oh, the punchline is the best.
Zhao Fu, who is literally being crushed under the weight of this boulder, gasps for air and asks Jigong, holy monk, what is the actual name of this treasure?
And Jigong, casually, without breaking his stride or missing a beat, replies, oh, it is called the dog-crushing stone.
The dog-crushing stone.
Dog-crushing stone. This raises the most important question of the entire deep dive. What does this rock actually symbolize?
It has to be their greed made physically manifest, right?
It is the literal, undeniable physical manifestation of their avarice. It isn't a treasure, it is a burden.
Yes.
And what is structurally brilliant about this punishment is that Jigong isn't punishing them. They are punishing themselves.
He's just letting them do it.
The more intensely they desire the massive payout, the heavier the burden they willingly endure. Jigong tells them that if they can carry it all the way back to their home city of linen, he can sell it to a collector for 20,000 taels.
Right. But they are so utterly exhausted, their bodies are so broken by the sheer physical weight of the stone that they bargain against their own greed.
They can't take it anymore.
They gasp out, no, we can't make it to Lin. Can we just sell it right here in Kunshan when we arrive?
And Jigong shrugs and says, sure, we can sell it in Kunshan, but the market here isn't as good. You will only get 10,000 taels, half the price.
And they instantly agree.
Instantly.
They willingly settle for a massive reduction in their imaginary payout because the physical reality of their greed is literally crushing the life out of them.
They are being crushed like dogs by their own insatiable desires.
Brilliant.
Jigong never forced them to carry it. He never laid a finger on them. He offered them an illusion. And their own moral failing, their own internal corruption, did all the heavy lifting. The stone represents how our unchecked desires, our obsession with wealth, status, or hoarding resources often become the very things that break our backs and exhaust our spirits.
We become beasts of burden to our own ambitions.
Exactly.
They are prisoners of a cage they built themselves, lugging a completely useless rock because they are absolutely convinced it is their salvation.
It's tragic, in a way.
It is a stunning, terrifying metaphor for the human condition when we allow ourselves to get completely blinded by ambition.
Which leads us to the final moments, the cliffhanger of this excerpt. Because after all this suffering, they finally drag themselves into Kunshan, right?
Yes, we have to describe this final scene because it is the absolute perfect capstone to their humiliation.
They finally stumble into the city limits of Kunshan, completely physically and emotionally drained.
Just a mess.
These two formerly intimidating, well-dressed enforcers are now filthy, disheveled, and trembling with fatigue. They are standing in the middle of a busy, crowded market street, hoisting a massive, dirty rock on their shoulders.
And Jigong looks at them and says, "All right, stand here and sell it."
And because of the contract and because of their sunk cost, they do.
They actually try to sell it.
They stand there in the middle of the market, shouting at the top of their lungs that they were selling a priceless treasure.
Imagine the reaction of the passersby.
Oh, it must have been hilarious.
People walk up, look at these two sweaty, manic men holding a literal yardstone and ask, "Are you seriously selling that rock?"
And Zhao Fu, fully committed to the delusion, screams, yes, it is a magical treasure.
The psychological phenomenon here is almost like a folie à deux, a shared delusion or shared psychosis between the two servants.
The crowd isn't infected by it.
Not at all.
The text notes that passersby just smile condescendingly, shake their heads, and walk away. This happens over and over, dozens of times.
They are becoming a massive public spectacle, a joke to the entire city.
Their internal, burning illusion of grandeur and wealth is clashing violently with the cold, external reality of everyone else just seeing two total fools holding a rock.
They are completely isolated inside their delusion. It is incredibly lonely.
It really is.
But then, just as they are standing there, bewildered, muscles failing, wondering why no one else can see the shimmering golden aura they see, the text gives us one final twist.
The best part.
Two mysterious buyers approach them out of the crowd.
A voice rings out from the crowd saying, there are buyers and there are sellers in this world.
Oh, that line.
And the servants, even after all this humiliation, even after being laughed at by dozens of people, immediately feel a surge of hope.
They think they're safe.
They think, finally, someone sees the magic. We are about to get rich. And that is exactly where the chapter abruptly leaves us hanging.